So this is going to be a very entry-level DIY skate spot kind of build. I already have the forms cut and everything like that. We're going to get into the supplies. Actually, first thing I did is went to Lowe's this morning and I went to the scrap wood area. You can pay for like some cuts, but essentially I actually saw a piece of wood that was on the saw. So I put the cut that I was going to buy for $9 back and just grabbed the extra cut that was on the saw, and they let me get that for free. And then I picked up a 2x4, and then after I picked up the 2x4, made sure it was straight, I picked up some cinder blocks. I picked up 4 cinder blocks altogether, a couple different sizes, and essentially I walked out the door spending $10. So far we've only spent $10 building this kicker. And then these forms were free too, because I actually picked them up at a nearby skate park that they're finishing. These weren't inside the fence. These were actually in the outside cut area, like public to the walking path of the park. And they have tons of other scrap wood. You can tell it was like in a trash area essentially. And that's what kind of motivated me to actually build this. I saw these, there's a bunch of these. It looks like they're gonna throw them away. So I was just like, you know what, let me grab them and build a spot with them. So luckily I will not have to build any kind of transitional forms. This is going to be our kicker. It's one side, I got the other side over here. I have made videos about this process, but we're not going to go through making transitions. I'm going to essentially assemble all of this at home and then bring it to the spot, just to save us like time and, you know, bus factor while building at the location. So essentially I'm going to use our cinder blocks and everything and figure out the width, make some cuts, and show you how to do this. So the way I'm actually going to start this project, because we have our 2x4, which is going to keep everything together, but I want to see how wide we have with our cinder blocks set up. We don't want our cinder blocks poking into the concrete, so I'll see how far I can go that way. And we don't need our kicker to be too wide, like, you know what I mean? You only need it to be maybe wide as like 2 boards realistically. The whole idea with the cinder blocks is just I'll have to use less concrete in the long run. Essentially, that's like how wide we're gonna have it. I do want space to fill concrete on each side of the cinder block, so I think ultimately down here is gonna have to all be concrete too. I'm not gonna be able to use these cinder blocks. So essentially, this first little cut that we're gonna make is gonna be the back of our kicker. And it's important that the cut is pretty accurate, because otherwise it'd be like a little kink and a notch we don't want. Before I actually end up making any cuts, I do want to give a quick shout out to Remind insoles for supporting this project. I've been wearing these insoles for the past like month now. I've actually tried all of these. So I have the Cush, the Destin, and the Medic. I like a lot of board control, so this for me is really good, and it's not like super hard. They're actually pretty soft. The one thing that I did notice with the, I think it's the Medic, yeah, the Medic, it has this kind of cork on there, and this one was my least favorite only because it's like stiff, and I could see this being really good if you're like jumping down something, like if you're Tommy Sandoval, who is sponsored by Remind. It makes sense to be wearing these. I don't jump down big things, so I do want to be like protecting my feet and be like a little more conscious of like being able to skate longer. So my personal favorite is actually now the Cush. For me personally, liking board control, but also wanting that extra support, being able to skate longer. But these bad boys, they're nice. Like, they're soft all the way around. And again, I felt like I can put these on and just skate and walk with them right away. The ones I have in my shoe right now, a couple of weeks, they're like a hybrid in between the Comfort and the Impact. Again, these are the Cush version, so they also have some rad graphics on the insole. So yeah, big fan of these guys. Thanks for sponsoring the video. You guys roll. We'll go some more into insoles later after we get some cuts and build the spot. There we go. That's the most important part. Shout out to my homie Lucas, who gave me this old saw. I'm not expert at wood by any means, but I think I'll be able to manage this. Nice. Looks pretty good, which is important that, again, it just sits right up here. How we keep this aligned with this and letting everything fall over, I'm still yet to determine. I think what I'm going to do is actually do the 2x4 right here, and then can keep their side pieces together by the 2x4, and then I'll drill this into the 2x4 as well. So that's the next cut. We know it's going to be as wide as a cinder block actually, so that's even an easier way to do it. Just take the cinder block out up here, have it lined up. We want it a little bit wider than the actual cinder block so that some concrete can go to the side. Not too much. I'm probably going to do I don't know, I'll freestyle like an extra inch on both sides. I feel like we're only going to need one 2x4 to keep everything together. That should do it now. Let's just see, make sure that's the right width. Yeah, now I can start assembling everything. Start screwing things in. We will use this leftover 2x4 space to shimmy it with our concrete later. You could use nails, but for me, it's just when I'm doing concrete, I feel like it's easier to get screws off the nails. Just making sure this is aligned, I feel like it's pretty important. Again, it's all about prepping, so when we're there, it's easier. Make sure everything's looking right. I'm going to try to use as little screws as possible, so 4 screws all together. That way, when I have the concrete there and I pour it, I can take it off really quick. Because I'm going to be using fastening concrete, really only need the forms on there for like 15-20 minutes maybe. Alright, there's our form build setup type of situation. Now we're good. Now we just pick up a couple bags of concrete and we can get to work. See how fast we can do this. So before we go to the spot where I plan to install this little DIY concrete kicker ramp, it's important to say that it's taken me a long time just to find the right location. I was really looking for like a abandoned loading dock so we can make like a Euro gap, or even some kind of box that we can like jump onto and grind. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find any of that, but I am gonna have the forms. So like when you're building these kind of wood forms, like I have stuffed here in the back of my car, the nice part is you can build these spots multiple times. Like the forms don't just last one time. You can use it over and over and over. So far we've only spent $10 on this build. I'm about to pick up a couple bags of concrete. We'll see how much that costs. Thanks to Remind Insoles for sponsoring us. I'll be able to indulge a little bit more on my spending budget than I normally probably would. But yeah, it's at a dead-end road where we're going to be building this thing. That's kind of the best spot that I've found. I'm a little anxious right now. I just want to like kind of get it going, and since I have the forms, I don't want to wait for the perfect spot. I'd rather just get it done, and who knows, maybe I'll find another spot and I'll still have the forms to do it. But it's a cool little spot. I'm going to keep it pretty discreet and low-key when I am building, so I'm not going to be talking too much. I'm probably just going to tell you the bare essential steps of like how I'm doing it. But yeah, let's grab some concrete and then we'll head over to the little build location. So the total was $40. I got 4 sets of fast setting concrete bags, 1 mortar mix, and some black paint. It would be cheaper if I just got regular Quikrete instead of the fast setting, but I want to get in and out of there as fast as possible, so the fast setting is really nice. And then you wouldn't have to get the paint if you didn't want to paint it black. Like I want to paint it black so it blends into the road. So let's head over to the spot. And like I said, I'm going to get this done as fast as possible. So I'll talk about some of the learning lessons or things after the build. I want to pull up, just set up, kind of get a good location for where the kicker ramp is, and start mixing and doing everything really fast. I just don't want to be there for too long. Yeah, so let's head over there. I don't know why I made another disclaimer. I'm going to get all my supplies out first. And I'll just set it like we had it at home. Can't believe I forgot my shovel. Shit. Having a shovel sucks, but just gonna make do. It's probably not get as good of a mix, but I'm gonna mix the next bag, like half a bag first. And to be honest, we're getting really close where I don't know if I have enough concrete. Hopefully the bag mortar allows me to skim with the 2x4, the forms essentially. Kind of working in a rush right now because I'm running out of water too. Well, that's not why, but I'm a little sketched out. But alright, I got all my fast setting concrete in there. I wish I had more water so I can not be as dry, but that's alright. We got the mortar for the top, fast setting in there, and then I'm just gonna keep banging and tapping on the side to hopefully solidify everything. Once we get the mortar on there, I can trowel everything and really try to just make it nice and solid. That's all of our water right there. Gotta break into the drinking water. Luckily, I have a little bit of drinking water, so hopefully get the rest of this mortar good. Man, this job feels so much more hectic than I'm used to. I think just building in a ditch in general is a little more chill. I just want to try to get this all done and solidified within an hour. You try to be very intentional with where I place this. Start up top. Alright, that's all we're drinking water. Luckily, I did bring the concrete binding adhesive, so I'm going to use a lot of that to try to soak up all this concrete I just laid down there with not having enough water. Yeah, so basically, a guy came up in his car that I had seen walking earlier, didn't talk to me, but got in his car and came over and was like, it's not going to be good for the road. That's just part of the building, you know. And I'm sure like when people see this video too, or people that don't skate and don't get the DIY sort of atmosphere of skating, like a lot of times people are like, just go to the park or whatever. I think it's a cool thing for the community, you know, like kids will get out, get off their phones and go ride this little jump ramp. I don't know. I'm just making excuses, but yeah, I had to get out of there really quick because it's getting hot. I'm gonna go get some water really quick and try to trowel that final finish because I definitely did not have enough water. I wouldn't pick a location that affected people's livelihoods or just their lives in general. Like if they couldn't park when they got home, or if they're like working from home and were annoyed with noises. Like there's only one house nearby that could maybe hear the noise of skating, but that's it. Closest store I can get to is Home Depot, and it's just like such a shit show. It's crazy how long that just took me to get water. I got two bad boy Dasanis. That's all they really had besides like the big waters, which I didn't want to get another one of those. So let's head back over to the spot. It's only been an hour and a half to be fair, so it hasn't taken that long. Hopefully we can still work some of this little kinks. I'm just gonna get wet. There she blows, baby. I'm just gonna leave it for now. Come back in a couple hours after I get some more work done. As hectic as that was, it really wasn't that bad. Glad I went and got some water and came and skimmed it a little. I took the side pieces off. I took those side forms with us. I'm gonna leave the back on there just because I want that lip to stay as steep as possible. That's the one thing I'm concerned about, is that the lip kind of falls over, but we'll check on it later this afternoon, if not tomorrow morning. So I came back in the afternoon and painting everything black. Unfortunately, all that footage got lost. I don't know what happened, but I did get a couple photos of that process, but most people know how to paint. So yeah, I just used the paint that I bought from Depot, got it all done. Yesterday we actually came, got a quick session, like right before the sun went down. I did some basic stuff, like an ollie. The very end of the session, right before it got dark, I tried to pop shove a tail grab. I didn't get it, but before we get into the first official session where we have some more time, set up some new shoes from Last Resort. Thanks for sending me shoes. You guys roll. Also, like I said earlier, I am using these same insoles I've been using, the shoes that I previously just went through. I've had these for about 3 weeks now, and I'm gonna set these bad boys up, and then we'll give it a little break and stretch on the kicker right. Like I said, at the very end of the session, I did try a pop shove it tail grab, which I would like to get today, possibly, but I did snipe off some of this edge right here, ever so slightly, and that's bound to happen. Like, something I could have done is like taking the form off. I made like a little bit of a definitive edge instead of super sharp edge, because it's bound to happen. Like, that thing's gonna get knocked up a little bit, which is fine. It's not really gonna mess with the skating. All right, probably gonna move on now, but it's skatable, it's fun, it's just getting really warm. Definitely want to come and skate this some more. So it's skatable. That was the point, showing the process of building the kicker, finding the location. It's scary at first. Once you start skating it, I definitely see there's a lot of potential